All right, this will be a fun game. I'm going to read you some of the names of the people involved in making this movie, and I want you to tell me if they're real names or not, okay?
Okay, so is there like a point system, or I'm just trying to get as many right as possible?
Real name or
Real
like
fake?
nom de plume. Or not nom de plume, nom de... See, I don't know.
Are you telling me people didn't want to use their real name and associate themselves with this movie?
That's what I'm wondering. No, so you tell me. So here we go. Okay, ready? Noel Peters.
Real.
Sounds real, yeah. Shannon Wilsey.
Real.
Okay. Clement von Frankenstein. Frankenstein spelled C-K-E-N.
Fake.
You pretty sure about that one?
Yeah.
Was it the C-K-E-N that did it?
Just the von Frankenstein itself, I think, was what set that one apart.
Okay, Claudette Rains.
Ooh, that sounds more like an adult entertainment name.
Now, movie history here. The original Invisible Man, played by British actor Claude Rains.
So that's a fake name. Yeah, that's a play there.
Robert R. Ross. The R stands for Robert. No, I'm just guessing.
That's a fake name. That's a play.
Yeah. Eric Champanella.
Real name.
Really? Champanella? Not like Campanella, Champanella. Champanella.
I have no idea.
All right. Calais Shellabarger or Barger.
Really?
Yep.
Real name.
Okay. Gail Lyon and Deborah Lamb. Package deal.
Fake.
Okay. Valmont Dubone and Hibbs Winkler. They were the casting directors.
Really?
Sorry, Winkler. Hibbs Winkler.
And Valmont Dubone.
Valmont Dubone.
Those are both, yeah. Those are both fake.
Okay. Riff Coogan.
Oh,
director.
that's real.
No, that one's fake, actually. Adam Rifkin is the guy's real name. Directed Detroit Rock City. That movie from the... Yeah.
Really?
Yes. Apparently, this is the name he uses when he's doing like B-movie Grindhouse.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
So were any of the names real?
I think a few. Were you hearing these names for the first time as I'm saying them? You seem like surprised. You didn't notice how weird they were? Was it because they pop up as some blonde ladies getting undressed?
Is that... Yeah, well, actually, I did note that it was interesting that all of the credits were happening as someone was peering on a blonde woman getting into her,
nude
nature suit? Yes.
Yeah, that someone was you, apparently. Welcome to Bad Movies and Beer. I'm Cooper.
And I'm Nolan.
And today we are discussing a movie whose credits Noel did not see because he was a little too focused on other things. The Invisible Maniac.
Yeah, or as the title states originally, The Maniac, and then they sneak in invisible there. I actually kind of like that little touch.
With a little, like, electricity shimmering letters.
Yeah, it told me kind of how the effects were going to be in this right from the start.
Yeah.
We go from that little intro into a woman just undressing, listening to music on her record player, and what seems like a person creeping on her.
We're not going to talk about the beer or anything else. We're just going to go right into the plot of the movie. Is that how we're doing this?
Well, you brought it up here, but we should talk about the beer first.
Man, calm down. You're just stampeding towards the nudity. I see how it is. No,
it's hard not to in this movie because it hits you fast and it hits you heavy.
It does. Yeah, man. And we will be covering all of the ridiculous effects that we get, some of which are actual practical effects, some of which are like, visual effects insertions, some of which are just people doing shitty mime. But first... As always, we have paired the movie up with a beer, and this one, really interesting connection, I feel. What are we drinking today?
We are going to be drinking a beer called All Is Transformed, and our movie here is all about a scientist trying to transform himself into an invisible man by changing all of his DNA here. He's going to inject himself and try to make himself invisible. This is from the Supply and Demand Brewery in London, Ontario. They used to also be called the Secret?
This is called Beer Lab.
Yeah, Beer Lab.
And that was going to be the connection, because I've had this movie on the shelf for a while. It's like ready to watch this. We were trying to find a beer that fit. I'm like, Beer Lab, slam dunk, only to find out they have changed their name, but they transformed into this new brewery. The beer is all is transformed. This guy's transformed into Invisible Maniac, so I think it all fits still.
Yeah, this is all quite well done here. This is in London, Ontario. I haven't been. You said you stopped in and grabbed some beers there. They have a variety of different styles. I'm excited for this because it is an IPA.
Yeah, they do a lot of IPAs, and the space is like right downtown London. It kind of like a bare bones, like sort of dark. Like the walls are black. They have like girders on the ceiling, also black. It's kind of like a big just like rectangle. There's not like a lot of like interesting physical features to the space. I think the draw is the beer. And like Beer Lab was a whole bunch of like interesting experimental stuff before.
Yes,
seems like they're still cranking out out different offerings on a monthly basis at least.
Cool.
So
I remember drinking and enjoying some Beer Lab stuff, so I'm sure if it's similar people who are behind the creation of this, I'm excited. It's going to be delicious. And an IPA, I feel like we haven't had many of those this season.
We had an IPA fucking 3 weeks ago for Shocker, or whatever that was. 2 weeks.
But that IPA was very in the middle, right?
We didn't know that at the time. You can't blame me for that. It worked out great for me. Don't get me wrong, but who knows?
I'm sure this will work out great for you too.
I am not convinced, but I wasn't for Shocker, so I'm keeping an open mind.
All right, I like that attitude, open mind, just like we're all going to have about the Invisible Man's intentions in this movie, right? Yeah.
Sorry, for copyright reasons, we should not call him the Invisible
Maniac. I apologize.
I'm sure that the fine people at Universal Monsters would not want their names in any way, shape, or form associated with this. The Invisible Maniac. There we go.
I'm going to do that more than once, and you're going to have to correct me again.
It's going to be the Shocker all over again.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, let's get into this.
All right. Maybe we just call him the Invisible Perv.
Yeah, man.
But are there any 80s pervs? We're going to get back into this.
Well, you told me this movie was in the 90s. So.
I think it is.
So we start things off hot here with some intense music and that short opening credit sequence we talked about, telling us that Smoking Gun Pictures presents The Maniac. Correction, The Invisible Maniac, as those words move apart and Invisible shows up with spooky bloody letters that are also electrical. And I want you to mark it down, Noel. 25 seconds in and I am all the way in on this movie.
I agree. This is the intro that pulled me into. We transitioned from that intro, I think, into a doctor speaking to a mother about a child who has the potential of a genius, but is also unstable here.
Yeah, man. And it is a disturbing close-up we get for both him and the mom. The mother, very stern-faced. And this guy is telling her that her child, Kevin Dornwinkle, while extremely intelligent, like you said, borderline genius even, is extremely unstable, both mentally and emotionally. And this doctor's solution?
You have to be gentle, Mrs. Dornwinkle. I urge you to give him trust and understanding during this very difficult period.
I will, Doctor. And thank you for everything.
Spoiler alert, she will not.
Immediately when they show her face, she's not the loving sort of mom. This is villain from children's movies kind of thing, right? This is the old woman from Matilda who's a giant hard C, right? This is here. She's not going to be supportive of her son. And you know what she's really not going to support? Her son perving out on the next door neighbor lady.
Fuck, which happens also immediately. We cut to that blonde woman stripping down that we mentioned at the top of the episode there in the credits. It's a clear point of view shot through what turns out to be a telescope as we eventually see who's watching her. It's Kevin Dornwinkle, aka the most stereotypically nerdy kid I've ever seen in my life. Seeing this kid's appearance totally popped me. But before we get any more of the lady in the telescope, the door to Kevin's room swings open and good old mom walks in. She gets right in Kevin's face and starts berating him, telling him he'll never be a scientist if he's perving out in his neighbor while he should be studying, and even slapping him in the face before menacingly laughing right into the camera. Now, based on that psychologist's earlier comments, we know this is going to set this kid off, but the question is when? 20 years later. Just a smash cut, white font on a black title card. Yeah, man. The International Physics Symposium being held in a church or Aboriginal Cultural Center or something. Not a great turnout this year. They're only running about 12 deep. And that includes the symposium's key presenter, Dr. Kevin Dornwinkle, now a full-fledged scientist. Thank you very much. He is there to reveal a momentous breakthrough he's discovered, something called molecular reorganization. Now, I know it's called that because they use the phrase molecular reorganization about 100 times in 30 seconds.
We'll be transformed is what we're going to see, I guess.
Luckily, Dr. Dornwinkle explains exactly what that means to laymen like us, Noel. He has found a way to make people invisible, and that has got to fire up the scientific community, right? Hot damn.
Oh, my goodness. There's so much we can say about this, from the setting, which is a poorly created church or something else. There's stained glass and it's a small boardroom table with very few people at this international symposium.
It's a weird rock wall with some sort of cultural art. Again, to me, it kind of read as indigenous. I don't know.
The settings in this are very low budget. We should mention that the whole thing is fairly low budget, I would guess. Other than what seemed like some good camera angles and work, it seemed like the whole thing was done on a very small budget.
Yeah, they hired a good DP and that was about it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So it's interesting here because they're talking about people coming from different countries, one from Belgium, one from India, and he's here because he says he's figured out this sort of transformation. He's going to be able to do it. Do you think before calling the symposium and have everyone come out, you would have fucking tested it?
That's a great point. Yeah, I had that thought. I'm like, well, this guy's got a lot riding on this, and he's nothing to back it up except his own concrete belief that it's going to work.
Yeah, and the other thing I want to point out here was the actor they chose to be this kid is way older than 20 years beyond that little kid. So that kid is like 8 years old, and the guy would be in his like late 20s. The guy this
guy's like 45.
Yeah, at least,
if
right?
He's a day.
Yeah, exactly. So I thought that was interesting. It's going to be a common theme in this that the actors are way older than the people they're portraying.
Thank God.
Yeah,
when
otherwise some of the feelings.
We don't want to blame it on Rio's situation here.
Oh goodness.
Yeah, man. But no, how do they react to his discovery?
Oh, he tells them about it, and they just laugh their ass off at him. This is the like least professional scientific community I've ever seen. I was like, holy crap, aren't physicists supposed to be like professional about this? I also wondered whether a lot of this would fit in physics, but I'm not sure. We don't want to get too technical
molecules.
on this. Yeah, I guess so.
We should ask your wife?
Yeah, she's a physicist.
Or possibly my wife?
Yeah, well, I know. Both of them are much smarter than us on this topic.
Experience with molecules, yeah. No, you're right. Everyone at the International Physics Symposium shits all over his alleged discovery. So Dornwinkle decides to take a page out of the Dr. Black, Mr. Hyde playbook and inject the serum himself. Now, despite some ominous music and world-class facial expressions, Dr. Dornwinkle does not turn invisible. I bet he wishes he was invisible, though, as the other scientists take turns dunking on him for the next 2 minutes.
Dornwinkle, you are a disgrace to the scientific community.
You want to see invisible? Watch us all leave. The only thing invisible about you, Dr. is your breath.
God damn, revenge of the nerds. The bullied have become the bullies.
Holy shit, do they ever? Yeah, there's a couple doctors just being absolute assholes to him, and to be honest, I kind of felt like they got what was coming to them in a moment here.
Oh my God, yes. He completely snaps, jumping up on the conference table before diving onto one of the scientists and choking him. But the part I love the most is as the other scientists are like fleeing for their lives, this one old guy is just walking calmly carrying his briefcase. I guess maybe that's his top speed, but it looks fucking hilarious. Anyway, when the dust settles, Dornwinkle has choked out 2 physicists and beaten another 2 to death. Information which gets relayed to the world via what has to be the most low-budget evening news broadcast ever put on screen. This looks like it was shot on a VHS in an elementary school classroom.
It was hilarious.
Oh, it's so bad.
It was worse than the news thing that we put in the movie we made in high school. I was like, this is like something I could have created.
Oh, easily.
Even worse.
All you need is a map and, again, a VHS camera.
And a woman standing there.
And just a lady with a Value Village blazer.
Yeah, so she's telling about this quadruple murder that has shocked the world, and I thought it was a hilarious transition. Where do we end up after this?
I'll tell you. 6 months later, another time jump. Dr. Dornwinkle has escaped the State Institution for the Criminally Insane, a feat which we join in progress as he jumps out a window and runs to the hills, where he manages to escape the police dogs that are chasing him by throwing a big stick that distracts them before celebrating wildly. Yeah! Yeah!
This scene popped me. I was laughing so hard at how low budget it is. There's just one camera following him, kind of a dog POV at times too, as we hear the barking and chasing. One dog appears on a hill and then chases a giant stick he has thrown.
He yells fetch when he throws the dog goes for it.
And then he celebrates wildly for like 10 minutes on the hill like that he's escaped, and you're like, there's more dogs or people coming. You didn't leave.
How far ahead of the police are those dogs?
Like
gone.
I guess very. Yeah, I guess gone. There was only one dog who found him, and the stick tricked it. Man. He wins. I guess as a brilliant genius scientist, you'd know if you got away, but
he threw it with the perfect arc because physics. That's what it was. Now, you're never going to believe me, but we get another time here 2 weeks later after his murderous rampage, time in an insane asylum, and subsequent daring escape. We see that Dr. Dornwinkle has found a natural landing spot, a high school science classroom. I was going to criticize the casting directors for once again choosing actors who are way, way too old to be in high school. But this is summer school, Noel, so I guess it makes sense these kids would be a bit older. They already failed physics, you know what I mean? Maybe like 7 or 8 times based on the look of them.
based on how focused they are in class and how they're really just thinking about cheerleading and f***ing each other, I'm not surprised they had trouble in that physics class. But
what were you thinking about in your early 30s? Wasn't it cheerleading and
same things? You're right. We also get introduced here. Yes, we're slowly introduced to all of the characters. I'm having a lot of trouble getting their names here. They do say some of them, but they're not really important.
No.
While they're in class, though, they're talking about how the previous physics teacher had died. They are suggesting that maybe he choked, maybe it was high blood pressure. There are other things. It sounds like he wasn't in good shape. We're about to find out, like you suggested, that the new teacher is on their way, and you're going to get introduced by the principal, who's a massive MILF.
Yeah, I was going to say, can we take a moment here to mention what their principal is wearing when she comes in to introduce Dornwinkle? She's got a blouse with like only the bottom button done up, and she's wearing a pearl necklace that literally goes down into her cleavage and then comes back out underneath her boobs. For anyone who hasn't seen this, picture the number 8, and that's what this necklace is doing. No one has ever worn a necklace this way in the history of the world.
I didn't even notice that.
Oh my God, are you serious?
I didn't notice that the necklace had figure-eighted her chest.
They are trying to get us to look at this.
Yeah,
100%.
They're trying to make us. I wasn't saying that I wasn't looking there based on the open blouse. I immediately noticed that this principal is very provocative and trying to be so. I can't say that I had any principals like that growing up.
Fuck, I wish. You can see where these kids failed. How are they supposed to get any work with? No. Speaking of looks, it takes about 15 seconds for Dr. Kevin Smith, that's Dornwinkle's new identity, to start ogling his female students after giving them a disturbingly intense introduction to physics.
The 4 basic principles of physics are matter, energy, motion, and force.
One of them, a future Harvard grad named Vicky, gets the full up-down treatment, and Dornwinkle even swings by cheerleading practice after class to get another eyeful. But unfortunately, he also gets an earful of 2 of his students talking about what a fucking weirdo he is. That's Chet and Bunny. He's a horn dog in a Canadian tuxedo, and she's another of the many rocket scientists in the cheerleading team. And after the 2 of them hatch a loose plan to try to drive their new physics teacher crazy, we know something absolutely horrible is going to happen to them. It's as clear as the view into the women's locker room that Chet gets when he looks through that grate in the gym.
There's a lot that happened through here. The intensity of the physics demonstration is kind of fun, but it's funny how all of the 4 things kind of connect to sexuality, because that is where this movie is going.
Kind of.
And rather quickly.
They kind of connect to it.
Energy, motion, and force are all pretty strongly discussed there. I also thought it was strange that they were doing cheerleading practice in summer school.
Yeah.
Now clearly that is
it's only the physics students.
Yeah.
There's every
just
girl
the
on that
5
team
girls, are in. So they're just keeping up the tradition. Really, it's just an excuse for them to get into cheerleading outfits, to dance, and then go to the showers together, which they do.
Yes, they do.
All 5 of them strip down and head to the showers, where Chet goes to the grate and watches them. We get lots of shots of full nudity, well, just asses. And breasts. Lots of suds. Lots of music. They kind of dance and joke around while they're having showers in there.
Don't all women do that?
13-year-old boys dream this entire movie. Like this whole thing, right? It's just like, imagine you had have seen this as a 13-year-old.
I'd be contacting a lawyer to sue the producers for somehow monitoring my dreams.
I'd
be like, what happened here? No. Chet sees all this. This grate is, there's no way. This grate is a full-size, like, industrial grate, and you can see right in. This is not even, like, it's not a peephole. This is like a fucking peep window.
Yeah, you got a full view of everything, although you are open to the gym. Chet leaves, though. He finishes there, and he heads off.
Hold on.
Yeah.
His heel click as he jogs away. That is what really, really sold this for me. Just the guy who's happy to see some tits. But I will tell you who's even happier than him. Dr. Dornwinkle, or Smith, who can't get to that grate fast enough after Chet leaves. We get another good look at the women in the shower before the doctor's fun is interrupted by a tap on the shoulder. It's the lady principal, and she has got questions. Not, why are you perving out on these high school students, or how fast can you pack up your desk and get out of here questions. Those he manages to avoid with an airtight excuse about dropping some change and needing to pick it up. No, her main question is whether or not he'd be willing to consider giving some private tutoring to one of the girls in his physics class. Apparently her parents are worried about her grades, and also that she isn't getting molested enough.
Oh God, yes. This is this is messy. You think as a principal you would be firing this guy immediately for perving out on the girls' change room.
She knows what's up.
She absolutely knows what's up. And
I've dropped change myself. I understand.
That absolutely tells us that she herself is not above board when it comes to students, and
she's below board. She's below desk.
Yes.
Oh,
absolutely. She's
own
below desk. Yeah. We skipped over a character that we're introduced to here. It's rough. It's kind of a prophetic old man, which you know that I love in movies.
Wait, he doesn't even fucking talk.
No.
How can he be prophetic?
Well, it's a mute custodian.
Well, mute-ish.
He makes sounds.
He clearly has some sort of like developmental.
They describe him
intellectual
as a
disability
mute
or something
in the movie, which is why I use that term. But he senses something's up already. He starts to try to talk to Chet and the others and let them know. He starts
talk is a generous term.
Yeah, he starts to grumble or grunt at them, letting them know there's a problem. They think he's just perving the girls.
But he is. They also catch him looking in the grate.
It's bad. Like this is my least favorite character in the movie.
And I was gonna say, can we peel back the curtain here for a second? You and I watched this separately, and you texted me being like, "Are you trolling me with this movie? Was this character what caused you to send that message?"
No.
Okay.
It wasn't this guy. You would have known that I would have been like frustrated.
I knew right away.
With that
I'm like
depiction of a person. Yeah. But it was actually just the amount of immediate nudity and
I know you
looking
hate
at
that.
boobs
Yeah.
that
Whoa,
I was
what a
like,
nightmare.
You're just trying to get me to talk about breasts on the podcast for
It doesn't take much for the record.
Well, yeah. See, this is what you were trolling.
I'd never seen this, man. I'm so
I
glad
like
I
see
watched
this, and
it.
I'm just gonna fuck with Nolan.
No. So we will check in on the tutoring. That's going to happen later on. But first, we get a quick "this guy's completely crazy" scene where Dr. Dornwinkle talks to himself in his cheap apartment while various beakers and test tubes bubble away. His monologue basically boils down to "fuck those kids" and also "I must continue my experiments." If only he could figure out the missing isotope that would make his dream of invisibility a reality. He thinks he's got it like the next day, but it actually takes him at least 3 days to figure it out. We can tell because it keeps cutting between shots of him doing science stuff and him teaching in the classroom. But when all is said and done, he does in fact manage to make a rabbit disappear, and not in the horseshit way magicians do.
1 week later, it is exactly a week later that he figures out and has.
They didn't give us the title card though for that. If only.
He does say the date again. It would have been nice to have the title
card. Why not at this point? You've given us the 20 years later. You've given us the 2 months later. You've given us the 2 weeks. Just fucking do it.
Yeah, we get him monologuing, and then that time passes, and then after that week, it works. He jams it into the bunny, and this time we get a bunny disappearance with just a spectacular special effect.
It's basically similar to those letters appearing in the opening credits. It's like that flashing electrical shape of the bunny thing that's gone.
We've seen this used before in 80s movies, right? And they actually, it's okay. It's okay here. After he does it, though,
oh fuck,
he gets into
another celebration.
Yeah, and
like on top of the hill again.
When he celebrates, it's fucking fantastic. I actually wrote in my notes that he was a little bit underselling it.
I can't believe that I've done it. But I've done it. I have done it. I've done it. I've done it. I have completed, and I've done it my way. I've done it. It's done.
After he says that, he just gets into the most maniacal cackle I have ever heard, and that's where I'm like, oh no, he's committed.
Yeah.
The acting in this movie is absolutely terrible.
You've mentioned that, and I do not disagree.
The maniac character is actually quite good. Whatever 45-year-old man who does this, he pulls it off.
This is Shocker all over again. I will agree with you that he is very committed to this.
Yes.
But you can't say this guy's a good actor.
I'm not saying he's a good actor, but I'm saying of all the performances, he kills it
that
in this role.
That is the lowest bar to clear.
So maybe that's it. Maybe it's everyone in this movie can't act.
In the land of the blind, the man with half an eye is king.
Yeah, and he has more than half an eye in this, in my opinion.
I'm not sure he does, but he's the best part of this movie for sure.
Absolutely.
I agree. Okay, so it's done according to him in that fucking quote. But you know what is just getting started? Some top-notch practical invisibility effects and a very erotic dream sequence. Might as well face it, Doc, you're addicted to love. And almost certainly that invisibility serum as well, as dude wakes up positively jonesing for it. But if you could get away with the stuff that he does in our next sequence, wouldn't you want to get back out there too?
Oh my goodness. I thought the very start of the movie was going to be the invisible maniac serving
Sexiest?
a woman.
Oh, no.
Right?
Yeah.
And I was like, Cooper sent this movie because this is what he would do with invisibility.
100%. I'll
Right?
be honest.
Like, yeah.
Minus the killing.
Well, yeah. But the like watching naked
The
women.
wanton sexual assault. Perhaps not. But would I
describe it that way?
Yeah. Would I
when you
be in
describe it
that?
way.
Would I be in that communal shower in like a college or a university where the women are of appropriate age?
Yeah, you would be.
I'm not gonna confirm or deny.
Just hopefully the steam does not give away your outline as
the Kevin Bacon Hollow
yeah,
Man.
Exactly. Yeah. So his dreams are messed up. He is seeing all of the nubile young women from his class
So much
in
nudity.
lingerie, and then
So
also
much nudity.
individually in showers and other like spots, inviting him,
Talking
in.
to him.
Yeah, telling
Dr.
him,
Dornwinkle.
Yeah, get over here, Dr. Dornwinkle. Well, the one thing that bothered me about the injection is that his clothing and glasses also go invisible.
Yeah, this is a common thing.
And, like,
with invisibility.
And I
right?
understand why you made that choice because it's easier, but like he should have had to get naked. Like when he becomes uninvisible, he should be dung out.
Well, I was gonna say, let's think about this from the ladies who are watching this movie. Maybe they want to see like a nice dangle.
Yeah, he should have been dangling.
Yeah,
That's what I'm
give
arguing
them
for.
because we're getting plenty. The straight men are getting plenty. Let's put a little something in there for the ladies, straight ladies, and the guys who like hot,
that's fair.
beautiful, hot.
And then this should have been there. That's what I'm arguing for, and I think that's the biggest mistake of this movie.
That is an incredibly bold statement.
Yeah.
But what does he do with the invisibility now?
So he goes invisible and immediately uses that note he got from the principal about the girl who needed
Time
tutoring.
for some tutoring, yeah.
Yeah, he shows up at her house while she's asleep. The first shot we get is of him picking up her underwear and clearly sniffing or smelling it.
I don't want to say it's clear.
I
I kind of assume you don't hear the sound
It
of him
goes
smelling.
from the ground up to a head level, and then
Maybe he
spends
was
a
just
little bit
looking
of
at them
time there
closely.
and drops it. Maybe he licked it or s***ed on it a little.
Oh,
I don't know.
Christ.
Yeah.
Nope, because you'd see it if he said it. You would
see it in his
like
mouth. Yeah. Well, we don't see that, but I think he smells it, and then he walks over and slowly starts removing her sheet, and then.
Bra.
Well, she's not wearing a bra. She's wearing like a
Oh, sorry.
like a
What was it?
pajama top.
No
or
one in this
something.
movie's wearing a bra.
There's not many
That's my
bras in
mistake.
this.
My mistake.
He pulls off her top, and we spend a lot of time on this woman's breasts, like a significant amount of time, him staring at them before we transition to class the next day.
Well, listen, if there was one actress in this movie who
You're saying April brings more goods than the rest of them.
I think she fills the role better than some of the others possibly could.
So
That's
this is
my
the
reading.
point. This is the point in my notes where I read Coop must
she
be
play-
loving this movie. Literally, it is in my notes, and I have Coop must be loving this movie. And why did he suggest this right when we're talking about April being naked?
Listen, she plays someone who's asleep really well. I thought that was a good. That's the best acting performance.
Best
in the movie.
performance of this is someone who can sleep through sexual assault.
I think he only touches her clothes, but I'm not convinced. Either way. So all I know is things are really looking up for the artist formerly known as Dr. Dornwinkle, and that trend continues the next day in class as Vicky arrives early to let him know that she needs an A in physics to graduate and that she's willing to do anything to get it. Now, I will admit, I was torn here. On the one hand, I was very excited to see how this plays out, but at the same time, I couldn't figure out why she would possibly need an A in physics to graduate. Aren't all high school classes pass-fail? Like, I don't understand. Either way, the bell rings, which brings the rest of the students and puts an end to this indecent proposal for now. But we can safely assume this will get fleshed out later. Pun intended.
Forget physics. Let's get physical.
Yeah. Exactly.
Oh boy. This is where I'm like, she's here to fuck with him. They've been teasing him a lot and even talking about it.
I wondered the same thing.
I'm like, she's here we know that it's not genuine, and I don't even think it's genuine in that she wants an A. I feel like it's a part of the plan to F with him.
Doesn't seem like it, though, as it all shakes out.
He's not okay with the teasing and the things that are happening. He's getting increasingly frustrated, and it's not a good idea to piss off this like genius physicist maniac fellow because things won't go well for you.
No, and we see a bit of that in a moment when we finally get Chet and Bunny's big plan in action. Dornwinkle gives the class a pop quiz, and the students wait until exactly 10:30 on the dot, and then they startle the ever-loving shit out of him by dropping all their textbooks on the floor at the same time. Yeah! Unfortunately, this victory over Dr. Dornwinkle and the students' own maturity is short-lived, as Chet is immediately summoned to the principal's office. After an epic prank like that, I was worried that this would be the end of old Cheddar's academic career. But it turns out the only thing that's going to be getting expelled is semen from his when the principal fucks him. Where did this come from?
Wow. Okay. I have a few things to say about what just happened here.
Yeah.
One, I feel like teachers would wish that the worst students would do to them right now is to drop books at the same time.
Oh, get off your soapbox. Can we just focus on the principal nailing this kid?
Chet gets called down to the office, and he is looking to make sure he passes summer school. And the principal offers him what I must assume to you is pretty much the best offer possible.
It's lonely at the top, Chet. Maybe I could give you some extra credit for extracurricular activities.
You mean I wouldn't have to read any more books or take another test?
No. All you have to do is make me feel like a woman.
I mean, listen.
Have sex with me.
Your way into college?
Yeah. Because he needs it for his football scholarship. She walks over around the desk, opens up or unbuttons her shirt, takes her breasts out, and goes straight into motorboat town.
Yeah.
This is her move. She loves a good motorboat. It happens more than once in this movie where she pulls them out and tries to get someone rumbling their face on her tits. And I was sort of like, I guess we assume they cut here. They don't show what happens after this, but we got to assume that Chet finishes the deal.
Oh, Chet wants to go to college very badly, both in the literal and figurative sense. He's getting an education, all right, let me tell you.
Yeah, this is a Mrs. Robinson kind of scenario right here, and he has no problem fulfilling it.
Here's to you, Mrs. Robinson.
Yes.
Well, you're not going to like this, but we get more time in the women's locker room now. It's mostly... This is mostly the girls complaining about the man they know as Dr. Smith, while also getting fully undressed before once again taking a group shower. Only this time, we see a pair of underwear rise up off of one of the benches as if by magic, which can only mean one thing. The doctor is in the locker room. Apparently, this serum is having a strange side effect, as Dornwinkle tells us.
It seems that the serum taps into my most deep-rooted sexual fantasies. Can't seem to get enough. Just seem to want more.
And I have to say, I love the play here. No, I didn't want to grope all those women in the shower. It was the serum. The serum made me do it.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, this is another summer cheerleading that doesn't make sense so that they can show a group shower. We transition after that to Vicky just finishing herself off in the shower.
That's not what happens at all. That is not a thing. Wait, is she even alone in the shower at the end?
Yeah, Vicky stays.
For like 2 seconds.
They find the custodian creeping, though, and Chet gets a little bit upset about that.
Yeah,
right?
okay, that's what it is.
And then Chet watches her finish off the shower. He's dreaming.
That's Gordon's girl. It's not his girl.
I know.
Chet.
Yeah, Chet. He's dreaming about, I know. This is interesting, right?
Can't get enough.
Just can't get enough. This guy's
he's the visible maniac.
Yeah.
He doesn't need the serum. Chet's just ready to go. Yeah, no. It's time for their dream sequence now.
Oh, yeah.
This one far less erotic and far more disturbing. It's basically Dr. Dornwinkle struggling with all of this pent-up psychological issues before waking with a start and us cutting abruptly to the two main meatheads, that, of course, is Chet and Gordon, peeing at adjoining urinals. At least I think they were peeing, but if you watch closely, they are both moving their arms way more than a person does if they're just standing there holding their Did you notice that?
Your is not a fire hose. You don't have to get two hands.
They were shaking for a while, let's just say. But regardless, they're complaining about Dr. Dornwinkle, of course, not realizing that he's in the stall beside them, hearing everything they're saying. Dude isn't even invisible. He's just in there. So bad job by them.
Yeah, you got to check and see if the
check
stalls
for the
are
shoes.
occupied
Yeah,
before
check for the shoes.
you start
Come
talking
on.
shit about people. Especially in a high school that has one summer school class and only them there.
Yeah,
you
it's
couldn't
just
pay
them.
any extras to be a part of this fucking thing.
Well, after the
decent dream sequence here. I actually think these dream sequences are kind of well done for the poor budget.
Disco Godfather adjacent.
Yes. Oh yeah. Yes.
No, this is something for sure. But after the previous scene of male bonding, we are treated as a quick scene of female bonding as Bunny seeks out Vicky for relationship advice. Apparently, she's not super comfortable with all the public places that Chet wants to have sex, but Vicky tells her straight up, that's what it takes to find a husband. And listen, am I going to sit here and tell you that's exactly what it takes, and that's the reason I finally married my wife after over a decade of us dating?
Yes.
So anyway, in the next scene, no, I'm just kidding. What Vicky says can't be true because the principal isn't married and she's fucking everybody.
You're right. So it's not just about fucking all over a school that gets you married.
All over school? No, exactly.
It is other things that lead to that. This is such a terrible conversation. Entertaining for the movie purposes, but not advice for life.
For like women in general.
Yeah.
It's
my
a
God.
real bad
It's a real bad
conversation
look.
for the state of womanhood.
I was trying to figure out like the decade this took place in because they're talking like it's the 30s
it has
and
to
40s.
Be the 80s. Oh, well.
They mention the 90s briefly. Like they talk about 90s girls. I'm pretty sure Chet and Gordon mentioned that.
See, I don't remember that. I swear this is
early
80s.
in the movie they say it. It definitely would be the start of the 90s because it feels massively 80. All of the hair and the outfits and the way that they're acting this. The underwear when they strip down is
just the way it's fucking shot and like the music and stuff. Come on.
Yeah, that's fair. The principal, who you said has been fucking everybody, is actually about to offer herself up to good old Dr. Smith here.
Yeah, how's that go?
She calls him to the office and he's prepared to get in trouble. He's not sure what this is about, but is he prepared for a real woman?
No. I think that this is one of those things where like he needs to be in control because she is the aggressor here, and for whatever reason, this puts him kind of on the defensive. We do see like a switch flip though. After she threatens to like call the police when he first resists her advances, where now he's the one taking charge. And they kind of tease us a bit because he does start kissing her. He's grabbing her breast and his hand starts moving down. For a minute, I'm like, is he going to hang her? But then instead he grabs a letter opener or something and stabs her like right through the heart instead.
The best character in this movie is already dead.
She's your favorite? That's not surprising. Yeah. No, but
it's lonely at the top, Cooper. It's lonely
that's
at the
what she
top.
says. Yeah, I'll take her word for it. Now, Dr. Dornwinkle might have passed on getting wet in the principal's office, but he gets absolutely drenched when he walks back into his classroom, thanks to the old bucket above the slightly open door trick. We got ourselves a real Sherlock Holmes, Dr. Moriarty situation happening here with him and Chet, huh? It's a real chess game.
Oh my God.
These kids are so immature.
They're so immature. All they want to do is fuck and like do the worst pranks ever. This is why I think this movie is taking place in the 50s.
That's something. This was like transgressive behavior. Yeah. Well, getting twice startled has driven Dr. Dornwinkle completely over the edge, as it would anyone. And he proceeds to run through the high school, locking all the doors from the inside before pumping himself full of invisibility serum. He's about to go on the warpath here, and his first victims will be two students who ironically almost saw this coming. At least if they had left the radio on, they would have.
God, I hate the news, man.
Me too. Who cares about the news? It's for squares.
Now you're starting to talk my language, babe.
What's that? The language of idiots?
Bubba and Betty are not doing very well here. That's true.
I feel like this guy earns the undignified death he's about to get.
Yeah, so they're sitting in the cafeteria. First time we've seen this location. They're just mixing it up a little bit in this school.
Giving us some new shots. Why not?
We've rented the whole thing for 3 days. We might as well show it all.
What about a scene in the cafeteria, guys?
So he's got a full sub, and somehow, as he goes to bite it, it starts getting shoved down his throat in a very uncomfortable way for Bubba. We actually get a bit of makeup here on his neck as it appears like
practical effects.
Yeah, bulging out as this sub's going in here. But as he chokes out, though, we get a fucking fantastic psycho laugh from the Invisible Maniac.
Oh, absolutely. This guy's cackle is, it's literally called a cackle. I had the subtitles on when I watched it because it's late at night.
It was cackled?
It said cackle, and
Yeah,
it's a great cackle. It's great. Yeah, this dude, Bubba, literally gets hoagied to death. And I love how in addition to that making this kid's throat bulge out like a fucking bullfrog, which I'm pretty sure would not happen, by the way, his girlfriend Betty just stands there screaming at the top of her lungs the whole time. Her death in a second is much more realistic, unless you count the fact that her eyes are still moving and we can clearly see her breathing after she dies.
There's a lot of that in this. The death scenes are not necessarily convincing, but the choices they make are entertaining, I would say. Betty runs out of the cafeteria down the hall. We're getting some more settings here. She's running down the hall and unfortunately trips and goes down. All of a sudden, her top pops off and her bosoms are revealed. Shocker in this movie for sure.
Oh, I know. Yeah, and then he wraps a fire hose around her neck and chokes her. Again, it's a realistic way to kill someone. Just she's like lying there breathing and eyes blinking. But,
Yeah, so
what can you do?
It's not going well for the kids here. The doctor is on full Invisible Maniac mode. His erection is massive and he's killing them
we don't know.
all.
We can't see it.
But we assume,
we can only assume. That's right.
Based on the side effects of the serum, that he's got a raging hard-on and it's coming out and killing people in inappropriate ways. We cut, though, to our prophetic custodian here showing up in the girls' washroom where April and Bunny, or April and what's the tall girl's name? I never got it.
Vicky?
No, it's not Vicky. It's the brunette.
I don't know her name either.
Yeah, so April and the other girl are doing makeup and talking about each other, giving each other just a good old, like, you're good enough kind of phrase. Yeah.
It's a positive female friendship, unlike Vicky and Bunny, where it's
it's a little bit negative.
Your way to a husband.
Don't let your daughters plan their lives around Vicky, because it's a rough one.
Who's going to show their daughters this movie?
I don't know, but you're showing your son for sure.
No, the custodian, he just walks into the girls' locker room, which is weird. They just kind of shoo him out of there. And then they proceed on their way out, where they discover the locked door and Betty's body and run to the physics room where they find Dr. Dornwinkle/Smith. These girls are in a panic, but he tells them to stay here so they'll be safe while he goes to the office to call the authorities. And then, I love this so fucking much, we get what is, in my opinion, the single best shot of the whole movie. These two girls are having a conversation, trying to process what they've just seen, and the classroom door is like right in the middle of the frame, out of focus behind them. And you know it's coming, but it's still so great when it does. Dornwinkle leaves, and then 30 seconds later, you just see the door open and close on its own. That is great shit. And thanks to the acting we get from these two girls in a moment, it will be by far the highlight of the scene.
You love this, yeah. Well, the acting here is pretty bad. He does, so we know that he's leaving to make himself invisible and not to go get some help. He sneaks back in, and then somehow he moves April out of the way. He seems to have, like, I thought he might actually save April here. He almost felt like he had feelings
She
for
was
her.
nice to him earlier when they were dunking on him in the fucking locker room. She's kind of like, guys, he's not so bad.
I thought he was going to try to save her and take her away. Like,
he is not.
No. We're not going to get there. But he
take her away.
I don't know.
So kidnap her?
Well, yes.
The romantic end of this movie.
Yeah. But he moves her out of the way, and then he tears off that random other girl's top. He makes the other girl drag her nails along the chalkboard before dunking her head in the classroom fish tank and drowning the shit out of her.
Oh, yeah. And then he goes ahead and strangles April. So that puts a hole in your theory. And with just over 20 minutes to go, it's only our two power couples left, Gordon and Vicky and Chet and Bunny. But when Vicky goes to take her 17th shower of the movie while Gordon waits outside, we know that they are on their way out. And sure enough, an electric radio seemingly rising up off the locker room bench on its own is going to be Vicky's ticket out of here as the invisible maniac throws it into the shower, electrocuting her. Now, I'm guessing this is your favorite kill in the whole movie, right?
Why? Because it was Vicky?
No, because while she's getting electrocuted, it's just a close-up of her tits jiggling.
No, my favorite kill is still coming up. It involves him jumping and grinding his feet.
Oh, Christ. Yeah, that's a good one.
What we haven't talked about a lot, you alluded to earlier in the movie, is unfortunately, because he's invisible, a lot of these actors have to pretend they are being choked and or hurt by someone who is there. And it is so bad. It really stood out when April was getting choked out by him in the classroom. She's pretending to be choked, and we get her facial expressions and her neck up in a way that makes it look like someone's there. But they really needed a green screen or something at this point to be able to take him out of the scene but still doing the actions.
Well, but even when he's throwing books and shit at them in that scene as well, and all of it is just unbelievable.
It's really bad, laughably bad. Which
I was laughing the whole time.
Oh yeah, this whole thing is the invisible maniac cackling, and then me also cackling at everything that's happening on screen.
Yeah, man. Well, it's time for Gordon to get it now, as after discovering Vicky's body, it was a pretty decent reveal.
Vicky? Oh my God!
He starts getting punched by something or someone he can't see. This is more of what you're talking about. Now, your mileage may vary on the quality of his mime work here, but the 2 minutes or so that we get of him literally getting punched down the hallway, up onto the roof, and subsequently over the side to his death in the ground below was absolutely hilarious to me. This movie is rolling right now.
This is probably the funniest scene in the movie, where he chases Gordon through the entire fucking school all the way to the roof.
Great shit.
We do hear Gordon land a couple punches even in this big fight. They're really bad at punching the Invisible Man, though.
Oh, the worst is yet to come.
Oh my God. He does best Gordon, though, sending him flying off the roof, crashing into a car, and then a giant fucking puddle of blood emerges there. We get a cutback, actually. They don't show it leak out of him, but we get some really bad sort of makeup work here.
Yeah, the payoff shot definitely does not match what happens when he lands on the roof of that car and rolls off. Nothing in that impact suggests the pool of like viscera we're going to find underneath his body.
But you know what the appropriate thing?
You know what?
They're trying. You know what? You're right. The whole thing is showing a lot of effort. Perverted 13-year-old effort, but it is good. You know what the best thing to do is when all of your friends are going missing and dying in a school? Go to the principal's office to It's time.
I was gonna say, man, that just leaves Chet and Bunny, who has decided to take Vicky's relationship advice to heart and let Chet nail her in the principal's office. Now, I figured they were gonna get murdered right in the middle of this, but they actually take this thing to completion. We get a fade out with some romantic music before fading back into the two lovebirds lying on the floor talking about sweet nothings and sweet everythings. And although Chet brushes off her questions about marriage, instead encouraging Bunny to just take things slow, we know their love has never been stronger. I tell you, no, I think these two kids are going to make it.
There's so much in this scene. They kind of insinuated at times in the scene, just with some of the shots or cuts they make, that the maniac might be watching them.
Also, that they might find the principal's body.
Well, it's shocking they don't.
It's insane that they don't.
They lay down on the one side of the desk and the principal is dead and bloody on the other side. If they used the same amount of gore that happened in the other scene, there would have been blood leaking under the table into where they're fucking. They finish, though, and we get a shot of them head to head, both of them bare-chested and sweaty as fuck. And they have a long shot of them both topless, just talking about how life is going to go. We know, though, that it's not going to finish the way you're suggesting. They're not going to be heading off into the sunset together. They're locked into this fucking murder fest, and neither of them have redeemed themselves enough to survive this. The only character that might be redeemable is our custodian, and we're about to see him again.
Oh, God. Yeah, man. He comes in the principal's office after they leave, of course, to clean things up. This is like his third or fourth cameo in the movie. And he finds the principal's dead body on the floor. I don't know how Chet and Bunny missed that, but whatever. So he runs out screaming, ish, obviously. But meanwhile, Bunny has discovered Vicky's dead body in the women's locker room, and Chet, who earlier caught the janitor looking through that sexy grate, automatically assumes that he did it. This leads to a brief showdown in the school gymnasium, but Dr. Dornwinkle quickly crashes the party, and now it's Chet's turn to take the air punches.
The acting of invisible punching here and getting punched.
Chet's real bad.
Holy
He's worse than the other guy.
Worse. Yeah,
he's
definitely
the worst, I think. Yeah.
It's so bad and so awesome at the same time that it's something that you have to see. This
is a great way of describing this movie.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It is just unbelievably bad and unbelievably funny and enjoyable together that it's worth watching this. Now, if you don't enjoy seeing a bunch of nubile young women, it may not be the movie for you.
Yeah,
but
if you're easily offended, first of all, there's no chance you're still listening. But if you are easily offended, perhaps not. But if you're not easily offended, then yeah. No, man. Chet does fight back a little here, finally landing a punch after several shitty-looking attempts that causes the whole screen to flash red, since I guess we're in a point of view shot. And after using the trail of blood to find out where Dornwinkle is, Chet manages to get him down in the ground where he lands several more punches and starts choking him. I guess time's running out in that invisibility serum, though, because it only takes a few seconds of this before we get the big reveal.
Mr. Smith.
'Tis I, your friendly neighborhood invisible maniac. Why not?
Now, Chet makes the classic mistake of letting Dornwinkle up here, and that's going to cause Bunny to get stomped to death. And when I say he stomps her to death, I don't mean multiple stomps, slowly caving her skull in. Dude literally jumps up in the air and comes down on her with both feet like he's Super Mario. He Goombas her, man.
It is pretty graphic.
Well,
they don't show anything other than they show the motions of Mr. Smith. He almost shimmies his hips. It looks like he's kind of doing an old-fashioned dance.
He's putting out a cigarette.
Yeah. And then he walks away and we get shots of his legs just covered in viscera.
Oh, God, yes. He sloshes out of the gym in his extremely bloody shoes. And then Dr. Dornwinkle returns to his shithole apartment to record a final journal entry, boasting about his newfound strength and sexual prowess, and basically laying out a plan to travel the country nailing hot high school students. But for a smart guy, he made one terrible mistake. He forgot to kill Chet, who suddenly walks in with a shotgun and points it at him. Now, luckily for Dr. Dornwinkle, Chet is also not a smart guy, and instead of just blowing the dude's head off or putting one in his chest or whatever, he lets the doctor get his serum, transforming himself once again via some enjoyable electricity effects into the invisible maniac. So again, I say, bad job, Chet.
It was poor by Chet here, allowing him to go invisible, but the Doctor does not see the next move that Chet's about to pull off. He also sees the needle with serum and decides we can both play this game, jabbing himself with it, and now we got 2 invisible maniacs.
Yeah, just when I thought this movie could not get any more ridiculous or great, Dornwinkle's like toying with Chet, having learned nothing from Chet's own blunder a moment ago and not finishing him off when he had the chance. And this allows Chet, like you said, to get his hands on the invisibility serum and take it himself. And what we get now is a fight between 2 invisible men that we cannot see in any way, shape, or form. There's no outline, no silhouette, nothing. So all it is a bunch of grunting and jerky camera movements as random objects in the room fall over. This shit was unbelievable. I loved it so much.
It is probably the most nauseating mess I have ever seen on film. It's insane. It was just sort of like the camera going everywhere, stuff being smashed, everything being thrown around, and it is absolutely laughable.
You want to talk low budget also, can we just say?
Oh, God,
There's no effects.
No, nothing.
Let's just swing the camera and knock some shit over. I cannot believe that with a straight face, they tried to film this scene. You can just like hear the crew laughing in the background.
Well, and then it ends with a shotgun going off.
The police arrive is what it is. You hear them like banging on the door.
Yes, that's true.
Someone gets the shotgun and fires off a single shot. And we figure out who it is because what happens?
Well, the cops come in, and after the shotgun goes off, the body of the person hit with it, and I'm saying body because the head has exploded all over the wall.
Oh, yeah, there's a big pile of just fucking nothing where this guy's, it's an empty hole where it's Chet's body also,
It is Chet. There's just a shirt and pants there. The cops, though, see this and assume that our good doctor has committed suicide.
Yeah, man, they discover this grisly scene, and as they wrap things up, we can see exactly how this is going to play out.
Looks like Dornwinkle saved this city a long, expensive trial.
That anonymous tip paid off.
Sure did.
Dornwinkle, you bastard. Why'd you think of doing this before you killed all those kids?
The cops think it's him, man, and they think he's dead now, which means the invisible maniac is free to f*** his way across the country. Do I hear sequel?
I hope so. We get his maniac laugh after the cops leave, and it is really good.
We should point out, they leave after literally 10 seconds.
Oh, yeah.
And he becomes visible right after that. So if they had just lingered and, like, I don't know, tried to like cordon off the area, call it in on like his phone, anything that
would have
normal
been
cops
caught
would
immediately.
Yes, 100%.
I love though that this movie transitions from that scene back to the most well done news broadcast of all time.
We do. We get one last scene here to really put a button on things. It's the same shitty news footage as earlier, like you said. That lady anchor is reporting the news of Dornwinkle's apparent suicide when suddenly her top is ripped off, exposing her breast to the world as the invisible maniac cackles maniacally. And we are out, man. We hit the credits to an invisible maniac theme song. Tell me you didn't love that.
How could you not love that?
Exactly.
The opening credits are nudity. The end credits are nudity.
The theme song.
Holy shit, it is hard to describe this absolutely baffling and hilarious movie.
Yeah, man. I cannot wait to share my rating with you and hear your ratings for this. So why don't we do that right now? Let's transition to our ratings. The way we always do this, we rate the movie on a scale of 1 to 10 2 times. 1 to 10 for how bad it is, 1 to 10 for how enjoyable. And the goal is to find movies that are a 10 out of 10 on both scales, or what we call the Crit 20. And I will say right off the bat that this thing is absolutely a 10 out of 10 bad. The production is so low budget, like we mentioned. The acting is fucking atrocious. The effects are like laughable. Some of them are like vaguely competent, but completely unrealistic for the way things would go in real life. There are no name actors. The kids are way too fucking old. There are several holes in this. This school would not be an operating school. That principal would be in fucking jail. She'd be gone. She'd be arrested. He'd be arrested in a heartbeat. This movie is so nonsensical and over the top and of such low quality that I have to give it the 10 out of 10 for how bad it is. What did you think?
So in terms of bad, I thought the story was terrible.
Yep.
Just absolutely made no sense.
His escape from the institution alone.
Oh my God.
It's just,
acting is absolutely awful. The effects are awful. The settings are like inexpensive and poorly done, and they're in the same place. The makeup is terrible. All of it is so bad that it has to be a 10 bad.
There you go. We're in agreement. But the question is, how enjoyable did you find this movie on a scale of 1 to 10?
Goodness. And this was one that, wow, it was so silly. It didn't take itself seriously.
How could it?
It could not. The amount of times that it laughed at itself and that I laughed at it was very, very high.
Yep.
The casting by, who was the casting person in again?
Valmont Dubone and Hibbs Winkler.
Yeah, they did a tremendous job finding the right people to be in this thing, despite them not making sense at the ages they're there. It did make it feel okay to enjoy some of the nudity and chaos that was a part of this.
Yeah.
While it being just so silly. This is a 10 enjoyable.
Hey, we did it. Rit 20.
I didn't know if I was going to go there, but in our conversation and feeling like you had similar vibes with it, I wish this was a movie we got to watch together. And we watched so many of them. I feel like it would have been 10 out of 10 from the gate for me if this was a film we watched together, because I watched it on my own and because I was worried about people walking in on me watching it. It was one of those films that I was like,
that's funny.
I was slightly embarrassed while watching, because I was like, if someone walks down and doesn't have the context of this, they're going to think I'm a pervert. As most of our listeners already do. But
shit, man, that's funny.
It is a crit 20 for me. It's a movie that if you have not seen and you enjoy titillation and ridiculousness, you will definitely enjoy this terrible movie.
Yeah, I could not agree more. It just, it's everything you say. Like, it's so fucking silly and just like over the top. And it's this perfect storm of like 80s style horror kills, a plot you can see coming a mile away, but it's so satisfying when it plays out that way. The gratuitous nudity. You personally, many times in the history of our podcast, have complained that movies did not contain enough nudity for what the movie was supposed to be.
Yeah.
They give it to you so frequently.
Yeah, they overcommit.
Just right up front. And fuck, man, like the acting is silly enough to make you laugh. The effects are silly enough to make you laugh. The plot is silly enough to make you laugh. This is such an enjoyable fucking movie. As long as you're not easily offended. I'll put that caveat on it again because, similar to yourself, I'm like, if my wife walks in right now, how do I possibly fucking defend watching this shit? It's so ridiculous, but I loved every minute of it from start to finish. 100%, I'm right there with you. This is a crit 20 for me too.
Nice.
A double, 10 out of 10 enjoyable. Great fucking time. How'd you feel about this beer?
I loved it.
I thought you would.
It was sort of what has become for me the quintessential Nolan IPA. It was very hazy, very heavily hopped, strong, but like citrusy, floral, really, really smooth, not super malt heavy, obviously. IPA, which was like focused on the hops itself. I would crush a bunch of these. This is something I would go back to again, and it makes me want to go visit Supply and Demand very, very much.
Yeah, man, it's exactly what I expected you to say. For myself, I'm going to throw you a real curveball here. I enjoyed this beer. I don't understand why.
Wow.
What's happening to me? I'm transforming.
I've been waiting for this transformation.
This is like I've
for
the Invisible
every
Maniac.
season of our podcast. I've been telling you that it gets better as you drink them.
Nothing about this on paper reads like a beer that I would enjoy, but similar to the Generator IPA we had for Shocker, I was drinking this and I was like, this tastes pretty fucking good. I don't understand. Something's happened to me, Noel. No. I don't know. This is like, I feel like the Invisible Maniac transforming into something that I can't quite control. But at the same time, it's exciting.
It's because it's so citrusy, right? It was just so
it was smooth.
So smooth.
I was drinking it easily and not hating life. I saved a sip for the very end, took it right now, and I was like, this beer is delicious, and I don't get it. I don't know.
I love it.
I don't know who I am anymore.
I'm smiling so hard, both from the Crit 20 and from this beer.
This has been just a landmark episode for our podcast. But no, man, I enjoyed this. And, I had a few other Supply and Demand beers. They had like a dry hop sour that was really nice. They had a stout, I think it was called a double coffee stout. It was a double stout with coffee. It was fucking outstanding. I could not get enough of that. And I would drink this again. I don't know if it's like a rotating offering, if they still have it in the menu or whatever. But Supply and Demand, formerly Beer Lab. Check them out. Maybe it'll transform you the way it transformed me.
I love this. Yeah, absolutely. What a great recommendation. What movie are we going to be recommending or not in 2 weeks?
Well, this movie famously sank not only the Superman film franchise, but also kind of was the stake in the heart of a lifetime love of mine and a recent love of yours, Canon Films. This is the movie that put them essentially into bankruptcy.
Oh, no.
We're going to be watching Superman 4, The Quest for Peace.
I've definitely never seen it. Is it Christopher Reeve?
It is the last Christopher Reeve Superman and the last Superman movie until whatever that fucking Brandon Routh one was, like
Remakes.
over a decade later.
We're canon.
So bittersweet as we're going to be watching this
Yeah.
one. We're also going to have a special guest on the podcast. So that should be exciting. And yeah, man, Superman 4, The Quest for Peace. If you haven't already, please follow us on social media at the BMB Podcast on Twitter and Instagram. Slide into our DMs and give us a recommendation.
Love that. Feel free to email us, thebmbpodcast@gmail.com.
Yeah, you can reach us that way too. And we thank you for joining us today for The Invisible Maniac. Hope to see you back here in 2 weeks' time for Superman 4, The Quest for Peace. Until then, I'm Cooper.
And I'm Nolan.
And we'll see you next time on Bad Movies and Beer.
Keep cackling maniacally.
Sure, why not? An outrageous lesson in physics and physiques.